It can't be denied that we are living through a global pandemic. Everyone is locked in their houses, so I figured why not play through a different pandemic, a game I'm sure is on everybody's mind right now, The Last of Us. Now, what can I say about The Last of Us that hasn't already been said? If you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you've at least played The Last of Us once all the way through, so I'm not going to go into story breakdowns or character analysis, because there are already a plethora of videos made by people far more talented than me. With the whole COVID-19 thing going on, and Last of Us Part 2 now being delayed indefinitely, I decided to revisit Part 1, and this time I wanted to complete the game on its hardest difficulty, Grounded. Before this playthrough, the hardest setting I had ever completed the game on was the Survivor difficulty. It was during my Grounded playthrough that I noticed a fatal flaw in this setting, which I'm going to detail in this video. The game was originally released in 2013, and its DLC being released sometime after. Before the DLC, the game's hardest setting was the Survivor difficulty. Grounded was added with the DLC Left Behind. I was interested in attempting this game mode because The Last of Us is a game very different from the Uncharted games. Its combat is supposed to feel gritty and real, and even the name Grounded comes from grounded in reality. My biggest problem with Grounded mode is it seems really obvious that it was just slapped on. When the game was originally made and Survivor was the hardest difficulty setting, all the ammo and supply drops were calculated to give you just enough to get through the forced combat sections and the boss battles. Then Naughty Dog wanted to put a new mode when they released the DLC, and they said, let's keep everything exactly the same, but just less ammo, items, and health. All of the game mechanics, all of the encounters remain the same. Enemy AI is pretty much the same, they just have better aim. It's this decision I feel was a huge misstep by Naughty Dog, because not only was this game mode slapped on with no real thought or originality, it was also a wasted opportunity to give players a new and exciting way to play the game, but they settled on, let's just play the game you've already played with less ammo and supplies. My biggest gripe with Grounded mode is that someone thought less ammo equals more challenge. So they limited the ammo drops from enemies and reduced the ammo you can pick up in the world without really thinking about how many times in the game the player is forced into combat. A perfect example of this happens early on during the high school section of Billstown. Before you crawl onto the bus and enter the school, you have to be detected by the runners. From my 6 playthroughs, one of them being on easy to see if I could sneak past this area, I found that no matter what you do, you have to be detected and are forced into a fight. Since Grounded mode is just less ammo, I entered this section with very little ammo. The game is supposed to have a mechanic where if you're completely out of ammo, enemies will drop it for the gun that you're on, but because Grounded has so little thought put into it, this mechanic is reduced to RNG. I used all my shotgun ammo in this sections, and sometimes the infected would drop 3 rounds, and sometimes they would drop none. The problem is compounded because right after there is another section where you're forced to fight once you get inside the school. Then after that, you're forced into a fight again with the bloater. So you have 3 sections where you're forced into a fight, but because the ammo drops are so abysmal, I had to just replay each section over and over again to get the random drops in my favor. Now you could say, well, that's the challenge. You're supposed to take them out with stealth or melee and use your guns sparingly. The problem is that if you take people out with stealth, you don't get any ammo. Random drops, from what I've noticed, only occur when you're using a weapon and you're empty on it. But if you have 1 or 2 rounds, random ammo drops are turned off. So you can't collect ammo by using stealth and melee, and it's random if you can collect ammo by using your guns. There are a good number of times in the game you're forced into a fight, whether it's the school section, the sections of Pittsburgh where you're forced to fight the hunters, the raiders in Tommy's Dam, and so on. But you're given so little ammo before these fights, and the game doesn't reward you for preserving ammo with stealth takedowns because, remember, random ammo drops are turned off if you already have ammo. So the real challenge of grounded mode is just finding bricks and bottles, throwing them at people, and then taking them out with melee hits while trying to dodge bullets. You might be saying, well, it's the apocalypse. Ammo would be sparse, so it makes sense to only have 1 or 2 rounds. Okay, well, why does every enemy have a gun? And why when I take them out do I not get their ammo? If this really was grounded in reality, the realistic thing I should be able to do is use enemies' ammo. I should be rewarded for taking out a whole area of hunters with stealth takedowns. Instead, I would repeat sections over and over again, because if I was spotted, I couldn't risk using the 2 shots I had because I didn't know if I'd get RNG to drop the ammo, and I knew there would be a forced fighting section coming up, so I couldn't waste it. The Last of Us keeps all of these forced fighting moments, but gives you nothing to defend yourself with, so I was left running around like an idiot trying to find bottles and bricks to throw at enemies so I could just punch them to death. And is that really grounded? The guy who got into a firefight with a group of raiders or infected, then ran around throwing bricks at them? It's at this point you might say, well, this is what they made. If you don't like it, don't play it. And I would agree with you. But I did, however, find a way to get a lot more enjoyment out of this difficulty setting. There is a way to make Grounded fun, challenging, and engaging with a little exploit of the chapter selection from the main menu. What I did was played through the game once on Grounded, then played New Game Plus on Easy, and stockpiled all my supplies and ammo. Once I finished my Easy run, I went to the chapter select screen, chose the different chapters in the game, and selected the Grounded difficulty. The game loads all of the ammo and supplies I had while playing on Easy, but changes the health, damage, and AI to the Grounded difficulty. Try the game out this way, and you'll notice Grounded is still really challenging, even with lots of ammo. The challenge doesn't come from having no ammo. The challenge is the realism of dying when you get shot once, or getting stunned when someone hits you with a baseball bat. The Grounded difficulty is wasted because the combat in The Last of Us is really good. Now, I never played Factions, but I've heard that the gun battles there can be pretty intense. In single player, you really need to be strategic about your options, but it feels wasted because with so little ammo, players just end up stealth killing everyone for fear that you won't get your ammo back. Even when I stuck to only use my guns when I have to, I would still run out constantly, and playing on the easier difficulties is too easy to be fun. This is why I think the perfect thing for the Grounded mode would be have the ammo drops the same as on easy or normal, but the AI and damage is the same as it's on Grounded, and the reload points are moved back by a lot. Imagine that. Start a Grounded playthrough, and after you and Tess kill the first 3 guys, you look down and you see 6 or 8 rounds you could pick up. You'd probably try to shoot everyone up in the next area, only to die from 1 shot. And you'd learn that even with all this ammo, you're still just as easy to kill as the enemies. And reloading from a checkpoint meant you lost a lot of progress. It wouldn't feel like a total loss just to fire off a few rounds trying to get out of a dangerous situation. You would have to fight for your life or risk losing a lot of progress, and that would bring a new level of intensity that I don't feel is in the game right now, even on the Grounded difficulty. Getting spotted and reloading felt more annoying than anything. And if you haven't played the game this way, I highly recommend it. Make a save file on Easy, then go back to the chapters individually and select Grounded. You'll see what I'm talking about. I know I shouldn't put my own expectations for game mechanics, but I really hope Naughty Dog doesn't just go down this road with The Last of Us Part 2. From the footage I've seen, the combat looks gritty and intense, so I hope they make ammo drops sufficient enough and wasting a few bullets doesn't feel like a total loss and I'll never get them back. I'm not the best at shooters, and aiming with thumbsticks has never felt good. I don't think you should need John Wick style accuracy just to use my gun properly on the hardest difficulty. But these are just my ideas for what I thought Naughty Dog really missed when they added the Grounded mode. I've played through Grounded mode once, and I don't think I'll do a full playthrough again. To me, Survivor feels like the better game difficulty. You're given just enough ammo that you can fight when you have to, but you still have to make every shot count. But what did you guys think? Have you played Grounded? What did you think of it? What changes of the combat are you hoping to see in The Last of Us Part 2? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see everybody on the next one.